Boardwalkers. Welcome back to Country Boardwalk Studios. I'm looking at our cows. You guys remember when we did the tutorial of our horned cow here a few weeks or months back? Well, I thought today we'd try to get a picture painted of our twins that we have that have been hanging out and trying to hide around the tree there. We also have another little calf somewhere. Ah, there she is, or he is, over here by Mama. So I thought I'd try and snap a couple of photos of these little guys. And I apologize for the camera shake. I'm trying to keep it steady, but I'm just holding it with my hands. And there's the other two. We might be able to get them to move together and get a photo of the three of them maybe to paint. So let's head back into the studios and I'll see what reference photos I can pull up and take in just a few minutes for us to get started. And here's the twins with Mom. All right, Boardwalkers, we're back inside the studio and I've done the drawing already in my 6-inch Etchr square sketchbook. I'm doing a double page spread, so it's going to be a 6 by 12 painting. And the reference photo that we're going to use is going to be this one right here. Go ahead and snap a screenshot of that. And go ahead and snap you a screenshot of the drawing if you'd like. I'm also going to have both of the reference photo that I took and the drawing photo in the video, attached with the video. So I'm going to erase or lighten some of these pencil marks real quick on the cows and on part of the trees here. Just a hair so I can have them not show up too much. I'm not too worried really with the cows since the cows are dark brown and black. But I am kind of worried about some of the trees in the background because those are going to be gray and light. They're going to be birches and oaks and hardwoods. And they're really light colored, so let me get those knocked back just a hair. And then we'll get started. I'm going to be using the MaimeriBlu, Daniel Smith and Winsor Newton watercolors from my Meeden covered palette again. And I've got some extra water coming from somewhere that I'm trying to sop up. We're going to use our number 12 Princeton Neptune, our number 8 Princeton Aqua Elite, my number 2 Princeton Aqua Elite round, and then we might use my little Winsor and Newton 0-point brush. I'll list the colors in the video for you as we get going. So let's dive in here. CB Mac here. In today's non-sponsored video, could I ask you if you're enjoying the content? Could you please click the subscribe button over here? I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers this year. Also, please post a comment down below. Don't forget to click that thumbs up like button. Share this video with someone who you think might enjoy the video. And then don't forget to click that bell icon so you'll get upcoming notifications of when my next new videos are. It makes a huge difference to the growth and the support of my channel. And to my subscribers that I've already joined, I do appreciate each and every one of you. Now, let's get back to our video. All right, boardwalkers, we've let this come to a complete dry before we put in our second layers of color and our textures. And I have gone and got some clean fresh water now so that we don't contaminate our painting with the green paint. So we can go in here now and get the details of our cows in here. I'm going to switch to from my number 8 round to my number 2 round, because this is getting a little bit more challenging for me to get these details in here like I'm wanting. To make sure everything is going the way I want it to go with the way the hair and the fur moves on the body. boardwalkers, we're going to let this dry once more before we put in the rest of our textures and that. All right, boardwalkers, once again for a second time, we've let this, or a third time, we've let this come to completely dry and that, and now all we've got to do is I'm going to re-wet certain sections of this background and drop in a green gray to give the sense of trees in here. And then we'll hit some highlights on our, and we should be finished. I'm just gonna glaze this in real quick. And it's just a mixture of my sap green and primary yellow with just a touch of Payne's gray to give it that gray-green look. Because we just want a hint of the leaves in the background. To stand against these white barks. Too much on paint on there. Here we go. Is going to look warped back there. Straighten up there. All right. Just glaze it in there. Take your time. It's okay if it's darker in spots and lighter in spots. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing over here. See, and just putting the water with the light bit of the paint. I just dip my brush in the paint and it just gives it a really light texture even. So you have a little bit of interest. It'll make it look like there's foliage and trees back there. Now we want to be real careful around this because we don't want to bleed. Don't want any of that to bleed. Dry brush texture. Come down on the other side of this large tree. Apologize, Boone and Kermit are resting as I'm painting. Alright, we've got that in there, just enough color like I think I want to bring out those trees. Now, let's see, see if I can take some clean water in here and get this to come back out. It's going a little wonky down here. Alright. Now, I just want to take a little bit of some burnt umber and the Payne's Gray. And I just want to run some of that down the trees. A couple of them twice to make them a little bit darker than the other. I've got this branch right here that I'm trying to get in. See that I did not carry my green down far enough on one side there, so now I'm going to take this brush and I'm just going to run it down dry, somewhat dry, so it hits in just a little bit of spots, because we want to build up some interest back here. Let's see if I can blend this weird darkness out right here. Probably not. No, not without messing up my grass there, can I? Alright. Now I'm going to go in with a darker, thick coating of our Payne's Gray and bring out just one or two of these trees and darken them up. Contrast in there. Take this and go behind here a little bit more. This one I'm just going to hit some of those stripes across the bottom. And now we've got their trees in the background. Now all we need to do, I think I am going to use a Bob Ross fan blender, a number 3. This is usually an oil painting brush, but I am going to use it because of the ends. I don't know if you can see how spiky that looks, but I'm going to use it to get some of my green and just tap some texture in the grass back here. I just have a very little bit of paint on the tips so that I can just drop in some, well, if I get this hair off, I can drop in some textures and turn it. Get the cat fur off of it. And see how that makes a nice little texture grass in the back. And dab it up the front here. See if I can get that crazy extra cat hair off of it. And try dipping that back in my, dip it back in my sap green. I just want to get the tips wet and just dot some just tap some texture in there across the bottom of this. All right, Then I can rinse that brush out. Now we need to put the hay in. You see how that's making a nice little texture? Let me hold this up for you. And looks like I've got a splash on my Calves right here, so we're going to have to let him be still and dry. Go in here and tap in some more texture back here in the back. See if we can cover this mistake over here. Now we can go in with our smaller brush with just some damp water and blend that out if we need to. Come back in with this brush and pull some of it out. Rinse our brush, and now we can do our hay, like I was saying. I'm just splashing water everywhere. All right, now for my hay, I've got Naples yellow, and I've mixed it together. And I'm just gonna go in here and tap it in here. Tapped in some color. Just a couple of spaces. Rinse my brush again. And now I'm going to take that Naples yellow, primary yellow mixture with just a little bit of white, of my watercolor white, and mix it up. Into a lighter color. Tap it in there. Rinse that brush again. Now I want to go into the burnt sienna. And just put in a couple of a little bit. Couple of bits of just tap it in. Tap it on my excess water off. Trying to get a little bit thicker paint if I can. Not too much. Tap that in there, just tap it in there. It's best you can. We just want a little different interest in there. Maybe go in with a little bit of the Payne's Gray maybe. And just hit some shadows in there. I apologize for Boone barking. Alright, rinse our brush. And now we can hit the highlights. And we're going to take our little Winsor & Newton brush with this really teeny tiny tip. Because all I really need to do is go in here and brush down the front of his fur there. Maybe come across the top of his nose. Come across the top of this one's nose a little bit. Make sure we've got those eyes in there. Eye shine on this one. And go in here on the bottom of his mouth for his chin. Define that chin. And maybe do the same right here with the nose spots. My brush and see if we can blend this out a little right here, because that's a little too bright. Just rub it in. Just want a little bit of difference right there so that we can see that light. See if we can hit the edge maybe. There we are. That is much better. Let me see if I can look at this. Right across here, we want that little streak of white across his back. See if I can blend it out. Ah, there we go. All right. I might have to go back in with a little bit more black. Knock out the white here just a bit. Just knock it out a hair. It's really hard to get these eyes to look right. With this darkness. On them. Let's see if we can get this a little bit more consistent. too much paint on there. Darken up that nose a bit much. There, a little bit more. Super tricky. And knock back those eyes again. It's a little bit better, not much. All right, let's see if I can pull out a highlight right here on the bridge of the nose. So we can kind of see those eyes a little bit better. We are. Okay, folks. This one's a little bit tricky with the dark black for those cows and those dark black eyes, but I think I'm pleased with it. So, as usual, I will put the affiliated links in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, please post those in the section below. I will also have links for some playlists, new playlists that I've done. And remember, check out that poll for that upcoming set of paintings you would like me to do for this next series. Whether you'd like to see some farm scenery paintings, whether you'd like to see florals and plants, or whether you'd like to see some birds or animals. Or if you can come up with another series that you would like me to do, please put that in there. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Goodbye for now, boardwalkers.